Up on the Chrome. Open up Chrome again. Yeah. Now switch. Click that. Now click on Zoom. Yeah. Now. All right.
This is your first week back.
Seriously?
So you minimize that. Yeah. So then go to the Zoom window.
Because I missed one week because I was sick, and then I zoomed the next.
Yes. You were still in quarantine, I think.
Try maximize.
It is November 5th. So you have to wait for these dates and that.
Wow, I didn't get that same agenda that you got.
What's that?
Stacked.
Yeah. Hi, JT. Detroit, you got the text from Big Am this morning?
Myron.
Did you hear anything?
Myron,
Yes,
do you see the agenda on your Zoom window?
yes, I do.
Okay. All right. I guess that's working. Okay. So you have to have it maximized. You're sharing that. Yeah.
Well,
So you have to have it maximized.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We get a little bit of money from it. I still Canvas. They get a little job or something and we get $2 every once in a while. Yeah. I was just thinking the other day about.
Well, we're gonna get a new state's attorney down in Clear Lake or
yeah.
Hamlin County.
I think.
Well, we'll see. I've got I'm interested in that because down in Hamlin County, they're holding my Civil War crap sword as a possible theft item. And I would really like to get that back. They've had it for 4 years already.
Yeah.
One of these days they'll say, just
I can't
give it
either.
back. Well, we've tried the paperwork several times because I'd like it as a relic. And the symbolism behind it, really.
Just throw that in the garbage with all your stuff. It is 9 a.m. I am going to call our meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. It is Thursday, November 5th. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I think we'll let Cindy do that with all of her hard work over election stuff. You get that privilege. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic which stands one nation, under indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess I would ask anyone who is in attendance if you would silence your phones. If you need to take a call, you could step out in the rotunda and do so. We are streaming live on YouTube, so individuals can watch us or go back and look at the meetings later. Item number 2, call for public comment. These we will defer and take up during the open part of the meeting, but if individuals would like to call in and address us at that time, the number is 882-6248 and 882-6297. Commissioner Johnson is zooming in, so we will call for a roll call on all of our votes for him. Item number 3, there's a conflict of interest. Is there any items on the agenda for any of the commissioners?
No.
Myron, you good?
I'm good.
All right. Item number 4, action to approve the November 2020 agenda.
So moved. Okay.
Okay, motion by Van Duzen, second by Waterman. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item number 5, action to approve the minutes of the October 27th, 2020 meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Van Duzen. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries also. Item number 6, canvass of the 2020 general election results and action to approve.
So what I'd like to have you do is I would like to have the chairman read the top report. It's called public reports. And the rest of you follow along with the third page and beyond in your packet there. The numbers Brenda is going to read are the numbers from the scanner where we ran the ballots through. The numbers that you're gonna follow along with are the numbers that I inputted into the Secretary of State's website on election night. And that's how we'll verify that the numbers from our scanner were accurately put into the Secretary of State's database.
Okay, so you want me to read each line here, right?
Yep, read Trump and Pence, just
Okay.
the
And the number?
candidate's name and the total. Yep.
Okay. For presidential electors, Trump and Pence, do you want me to put Republican? Do you want me to have
No.
a party? Okay.
Nope, nope.
Trump and Pence was 8,958. Jorgensen and Cohn, 366. Biden and Harris, 3,837. Do I need to do the total?
Nope.
Okay. For US Senator, Mike Rounds, 9,479. Dan Ayers, 3,626. US States Representative, Dusty Johnson, 10,685. Randy.
Uriah Llewellyn.
Okay, 1,881. PUC Commissioner, Gary Hansen, 9,285. Devin Saxon, 646. And Remy WB Bald Eagle, 2,352. For State Senator in District 4, John Wick, 1,405. Daryl Rutt, 250. For State Senate in District 5, Lee Schoenbeck, 8,272. Adam Jewell, 2,193. For State Representative District 4, Fred Deutsch, 1,201. John Mills, 865. Becky Holquist, 460. State Representative in District 5, Hugh Bartles, 7,311. Nancy York, 6,182. County Commission, District 2, Charlie Waterman, 1,350. Travis D. Paulson, 824. Supreme Court Justice Retention, yes, 9,161, no, 1,716. Constitutional Amendment A, yes, 6,603, no, 6,355. Constitutional Amendment B, yes, 7,068, no, 5,595. Initiated Measure 26, yes, 9,000, no, 4,029. That should be it.
That is it. The total ballots cast were 13,330. We just need a motion to accept the results and sign the certificate of canvass.
So moved. Second.
All right, motion by Van Duzen, second by Waterman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries as well. All right, we will move on then to monthly reports. Extension is not here yet.
I'm on Zoom.
Oh,
Yep,
okay,
yep,
I'm
there she
sorry,
is.
Jody. I showed
Hi.
my on, and Sarah's on as well. Okay, all right, go ahead.
All right, so I held our 4-H recognition event in person with each award winner receiving a ticket and a ticket for a guest on October 18th. The tables were all spaced out in the North Expo. The county award winners are featured on our Codington County 4-H Facebook page. So if someone wants to see them, they can go on there. Recently attended the virtual National 4-H Conference and the virtual SDSU Extension Conference with North Dakota and Kansas Extension. We recently received a Walmart Foundation grant with surrounding coworkers from Day Marshall Grant and Brookings and for 4-H Healthy Habits. We're going to be planning that soon. Our 4-H online program is now ready for enrollments after an upgrade. That's our version 2 for that. And immediately following this, that's why I zoomed in. I'll be zooming for our 4-H program advisors meeting here for strategic planning and updates from 4-H. And so that starts at 9:30 today. Any questions?
No questions, just a comment. Thank you for all your hard work in these difficult times during the past year.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? I think that's good. Thanks, Jody.
Thank you.
Give you a chance to hop on your next meeting. All right, then we'll move on to the Veteran Service Officer, Todd. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Todd.
You did submit a written that's in your packet as well.
I think I can do that. If I can take one first.
Okay. Turn on the mic, Todd.
There. Okay. So we'll start off with the Watertown CBOC. They continue to see patients even with the uptick in COVID cases. They are looking forward and trying to make some planning, ongoing operations at the clinic to maintain that. They have still continued to use telephonic and video consults as much as they can to encourage social distancing. They did have their second flu drive on the 30th of October. And they are still taking, if somebody walks in that has an appointment, or if they walk in, they are still giving flu shots from that standpoint. And their second new hire should have started last week to work at the front desk. So they should have 2 there operating there. The VFW is planning and conducting the Veterans Day activity at the Extension Center. It's going to be starting at 10:30 on the 11th. They plan to have that live streamed on KWAT, and they're going to live stream onto their website, and hopefully they'll be able to take that live stream from there and put on the government TV channel later on. Event is planned, and the guest speaker is no other than Lee Gable over here, Commissioner. Okay, you're willing to admit, we'll go with that. Other than that, I think everything is squared away with there. We met with the commanders on Tuesday night to discuss the plans there. Again, attended Marine Corps League, DAV, VFW. That was my first time at the DAV. Had a good meeting with them, talked a lot about different benefits and stuff from there, so that was good. And we also got their commander to come to the Vets Council on Tuesday night, so that was a good deal there. We currently have 6 qualified drivers, 5 in process. We should qualify 2 more today. They just left this morning about 8:30 to take the 2 drivers for a ride along to take them down to the VA, get their last ID card and everything else from that standpoint. So that should take us up to 8 drivers there. We made 3 trips in October. We have 1 currently scheduled for December. Along with that, I did finally get the application from the DAV Post 1 in Sioux Falls for the new vehicle. Looking, and that is the one sheet that I handed out there with the DAV on there. That's kind of the list of, on the front page is the list of options that we have and kind of what our cost share would be in there. On the back side is a picture of the Ford Transit Connect van. That is a front wheel drive vehicle, 7 passengers. It has 4 captain's chairs, the first row and the second row. It has 2 side door access. From that, that's kind of what we had budgeted for. I don't know if we want to venture off into a 4-wheel drive Explorer. That might be an option. I guess having a front wheel drive compared to the rear wheel drive we had now, I figured would be a step up from that standpoint. And if it's that bad that we have to worry about the 4-wheel drive, I don't know if we would want to send them on the road anyway. So, and I don't know exactly what the process would be here. I mean, we have it in the budget. I just have to send them a letter of commitment that we would pay for our share. And I don't believe it's till March is when we would have to pay that off.
Okay, and if it's in the 2021 budget, that's fine. Does the letter of commitment need to come from this board or from you? That would be my question.
Well, I will
Check
get
on
back.
that, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, yep,
We'll do it. It still has to be agendized though for just to spend the money, right?
yes.
So we
you
can
have
do that in
to-
one action
if-
anyway.
If
We just do
if
it.
you feel you want to commit, you would have to take action to have Todd move forward on the project.
And the letter of commitment is on there. I believe it has to be in by the end of November.
November 20th.
So we can put it on next week's agenda and then that way we can take care of it.
Okay?
You put this in your budget for next year, right?
Yes, sir. Okay, one thing that just came out, the VA is changing the process for travel reimbursement. They are going to an online computer entry and access so that you can do it at any time. You could do it at home or whatnot. The kiosks that used to be at the clinics are not going to be there. So where if they go to appointment, they could come back out, file their travel claim. They're going to have to go online with that. I'm going to assume, I talked with the commanders about that. They weren't too happy about it. So I would assume that we'll have a little bit of kickback on that, but I mean, we can't really stop what the VA is doing from there. So by me hopefully getting that computer up in our office in the front area might help. So when a veteran comes in, that's my thought process on that.
So this is reimbursement for a vet who has to travel for medical.
Yep.
Okay,
And they can't do it at the clinic. They have to come to the county VSO.
Well, no, they can do it online.
Okay.
It's basically they're
I see,
pushing
yeah.
everything online,
Yeah.
so they could go home and file it online if they want, but
Mhm.
sometimes our veterans don't have computers or they don't like that
Right, yeah.
challenge.
Just don't like using it.
Yep.
And we're not changing it. I can't blame them.
I attended the Sea of Goodwill meeting on Friday and listened to the presentation about the possible project. I'm sure you've seen it in the paper, the senior/veteran housing or small community living area. They kind of nicknamed it the Harmony Hills Project. Michael Klatt and Sister Barbara Younger made the presentation. There was a pretty good turnout there. Seemed very interesting to have something like this in our area. It's not just with senior living, it's also would provide some for veterans if they had PTSD or some other health areas that we have the CBOC here. Again, this is just basic data. I gave you a slide deck that kind of talks a little bit about it, has a few pictures, not necessarily saying that that's going to be that, but it does have the land in the back of what the sisters have. I believe there's 550 acres, 505 acres. Don't quote me on that, but I just thought I'd provide that information for you to review. Working with our future projects, I've been working with the local vets and the commanders. We're trying to readdress or maybe get some veteran services signs on the entrance to Watertown, be it on 212, 81, Highway 20. So I've started working, Rick gave me a contact for the state DOT. And I've worked a little bit with the city on that. We're just kind of getting knowing what our left and our right parameters are as far as that. So we won't do anything with that probably until spring if we're able to accomplish that. So I just got access to finally get into VBMS after there must have been something within the computer firewall. I couldn't access the site, but I talked with Mike down at Connecting Point. He got me squared away. So still have that to get done. And I'm going to work a little bit harder on getting that computer mine scrubbed with Mike and then getting that set up. I think that'll be important here in the months to come. Other than that, unless there's any questions,
Good rundown. What's the funding source for this, the housing project, just out of curiosity?
General Goldhorn asked that question. Basically, if they were to do a 50 to 70 unit initial setup, anywhere from 13 to 15 million dollars, and then maybe 40% would come from VASH or a grant, a federal grant from that standpoint, and then the other 60%. Don't quote me on this, but I believe that's kind of what they're looking for from donors and stuff, with the debt ratio to be at the right level and stuff of that nature. So that's, I don't know if that answers your question.
That does. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions for Todd? Myron, did you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you, Todd.
Have a good day.
Thanks,
All
Tom.
right, Thanks,
Thanks,
Todd. Get that on the agenda for next week then. All right, then we move on to the welfare director report. Miss Sarah?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yep, you bet.
First of all, Charlie, congratulations on your election. I do want to also mention, when I was thinking about that is just, we've had the opportunity to work together sometimes with some of the people you work with. You refer them our way, or you ask a lot of questions. But also what you do that I want to commend you on is you actually are kind of that mentor peer support. I know without that, a lot of these individuals that you've referred, they're just better off. And also, nothing gives me more pleasure when you see somebody that you work with and then they come back a couple months later and they look like they're 10, 15 years younger. So I just wanted to highlight that respect that I have that you do that. And, if you ever have questions on my office, you do a good job at just asking me that. And that's a reflection of good leadership. So I look forward to working with, the continued as a commissioner. So, right now, as everybody knows, my household has been affected by COVID. So I am at home on this Zoom meeting. I don't have any numbers for you right now because I'm just only able to do like Zoom meetings. I will get that on the next report. So I thought I would just highlight some stuff that I've been doing. What I do recall based on my recollection was that we had a month, and I can't remember if it was September or August, where our numbers were up in the 60s, and then they came back down to around their average, the 30s. October, the first 3 weeks has been slower. What we tend to find our trend and our pattern is like when ICAP has a new source of funding, or a lot of it tends to go up. And when that funding goes down or is depleted, then our numbers also decrease. This week I have had several phone calls with Carrie while she's been in the office to answer your question. I would ask the board to reconsider the position to allow some work from home so I can best maintain the office. It wouldn't be the full hours and stuff of that. If I'm right now, everybody that I've been asking has either have symptoms or they're tested. I do think I have I do have somebody for sure tomorrow lined up and possibly next week, but just the way things have been going, I would ask for that flexibility. So at the last, the Behavioral Health Justice Work meeting, there was a lot of discussion on Intercept 0 and 1. What that is that's the resource, people in that location and community members that is prior to law enforcement engagement. And the discussion was the goal to connect people to services with the intent to prevent that person from going deeper into this system, to not even ever have law enforcement contact. There was discussion on case management, coordinating services, or like Lee likes to call it, the community systems of care. There was, the majority kind of felt the case management was good, but there's still some gaps. I do know, like Angela Hyde with NAMI was a NAMI representative. She did not agree services were good. So what I did is I reached out to Travis Parker with Policy Research Associates. They're the one that did our SIM mapping, and Erin Sertska with, she's formerly from Minnehaha County. She led a lot of their Stepping Up initiative, and she secured MacArthur funding. And she really did the heavy lift with the triage center just to discuss and request technical assistance support to kind of identify need and direction. I did get a, they were given the behavioral health deflection data and the SIM mapping and the focus on the community resources. Both of them did make the comment that based on the numbers with the BHDP program, they did not lean toward adding additional services for systems of care, but they also said that there's some gaps and wanted to take a deeper look into where the gaps are. Both also mentioned peer support services. That has been an effective way. To help people. What I did learn that in order for peer support services, you have to have lived experiences. So that would have prevent Carrie from my office or even myself to be able to lead or develop that peer support. And so that's, and at this time, like Carrie had the ability to manage the cases. So I didn't push for her for additional hours. As far as the policy research, what they offered was they could spend a half day with experienced facilitators. They had one from he gave to Reggie and Shanda is their name. There's and also additional support staff member. They would work with our local stakeholders to update the SIM mapping at intercepts 0, 1, and 2, and any existing and new gaps, resources would be identified as part of this process, and your map would also be updated. And then they would do a half-day follow-up session on the strategic action planning related to not only the findings coming out of the SIM, but related to the gaps that were identified in connecting people to services and also keeping them engaged, and the lack of peer support services. Casey Moyer then is from the Nebraska. She operates peer support. She would be engaged as a consultant on the mapping and follow up to offer consultation education to the stakeholders regarding implementation if peer support services were sought, engage in question, provide materials, and mental health. That fee for that was $20,500. But because of the delay in the time, we wouldn't be able to do it in this year. It'd have to be 2021. They might be able to get started. Erin has a team. Erin Sertkas has a team at USD that can provide, what they do is they do kind of the same thing. They provide a logic model. And what that does is it helps to work through the goals and also create programs that creates sustainability for the programs. Erin's team is also able to look at and help provide grants. They are able to, at a cost, to help provide with the grant writing. And I can speak to Erin's experiences and expertise. She's really good at that. I also learned through Erin, and then also through a meeting with DSS, that there are resources for community service workers. And I thought that it was really promising because that would give the option for like HSA to hire a person in-house. And that would give them ability to follow up with someone that has had a commitment and provide case management or the direct services. And that did, the behavioral health program provided that, but that sometimes created a bit of a tiff of who should be working with that person. So that would actually create a smooth transition for them to work, especially with those with the mental health on that. I know, I'm not sure, I haven't had a follow-up. Erin was going to reach out to Brenda and Lee and talk to them, and then she was going to provide me a price. And then she was going to include in that price like a breakdown where if you want multiple options, you could select 1, 2, or the full package. But I haven't since then been able to get a hold of Erin. And that was that was a couple weeks ago. I did visit with Lee about that we were working with that, just a brief visit. I just think that I really do think the board should take a further look and consider this option. You know, the only time something should be rushed is if we would lose the opportunity. I think the technical support would allow us to put together a sustainable program and really work together on the goals that's effective and efficient, and, you know, put together how we're going to do that.
Sarah,
that-
I'm gonna interrupt you. That's not on the agenda to discuss that. I think we're kind of getting off topic a little bit as far as your report. If that's something you want us to take a look at, I guess that would be for another meeting.
Yeah, I would, Madam Chair, Sarah, I would suggest that maybe we take that up as a, if you think this is a, either a study or with, is it Gaines, with Travis or
Aaron,
Aaron or whoever, if we, because that's a lot of work for somebody like Aaron to put together a proposal. So maybe that's something we need to talk about at the next behavioral health and justice working group. And we should probably schedule that sooner since we kind of have a rhythm. Now that we're in the midst of COVID, we could probably schedule it sooner than, because we had a huge gap between our last two. So,
and I don't know that we have the correct data to do that at this time anyway. I guess I personally
well,
don't
that's,
think it's the right timing, and I don't believe it's in the budget either, so.
no, we didn't budget specifically for that, but I think we can at least talk about the need I mean, I think it'd be okay to talk about it at the behavioral health and
Right.
justice working group, so.
All right, so,
Aaron has the numbers. I was just going over what some of the stuff I did the last month. So what you're saying is if you want that to considered, I should bring that up to the Justice Working Group. Is that correct?
I think that'd be a good place to put, to talk about it. I mean, because it's a community question. I mean, the stuff you're bringing up is a community-wide question, so I think that would be an appropriate forum to start digesting, whether or not that we need it, whether or not it's feasible. Like we're talking about if there's enough data there to use, or would it be more of an anecdotal type analysis? So
They could present
that-
as well to
yeah.
give-
yes, yeah, it would be interesting to see if the other agencies that would also would feel it would be a benefit or not, but then it would eventually come back to our board for approval.
Okay.
But yeah, I believe that would be the right place to kind of hash it over. All right,
So the ICAP case manager, she started on Wednesday. She's going to be in the welfare office 32 hours a week, with 19 hours being paid by the county. She had stated that she's going to work Monday through Thursday because ICAP is closed on Wednesdays. What we did is we gave her that front desk. I think she's going to move it a little bit. We had cleared 2 drawers and a file cabinet, but they are requesting to have one that they can lock without county access. So we are working on clearing out the remaining drawers of that file cabinet to provide that. Steve is getting her copies of the keys to the city auditorium and then the welfare office. At this time, like I said, we're slower. We had 3 cases for case management. So Carrie gave those to Amy, and then Amy referred those to Cindy Rammel. And then when I'm back in the office, I'll provide a copy of that SAMHSA client services form. And then just, it was clarified, the county has that MOU with the Beacon Center for ESG and Services. And I know Brenda had reached out to Dawn at the Beacon Center in Lorraine. And there was some misunderstanding of the terms and language. It's a complex grant, but through several meetings, it's determined that since ICAP receives ESG funding as well, they are unable to handle the funding under the Beacon Center. So, because that's considered dual enrollment. And we'll continue to kind of work on that to see if there's other options. But at this time, that's what I've been instructed. The county will continue to handle the ESG cases, and we did receive that from Cindy Rammel at ICAP as well.
I would add to that, Sarah. There wasn't really a misunderstanding of what Dawn said. I knew what she was talking about. Of course, we don't want duplication of services. That was the question is when that individual would be contracted with the county, would they be able to handle it? Of course, they wouldn't be able to do it on the ICAP side, but that was the question that Dawn had to find out. So whatever that answer is, it's fine. It's whatever works and whatever we're going to be able to continue to use that funding.
Right, and what she stated is no, it has to be a county employee because of the funding. She had met with Lorraine and Denise, and her and I talked before and after that. So that at this point, and then we did get the email from Cindy Rammel Cindy Dannenberg as well that ICAP wouldn't do the ESG. So
Right.
on that. So we just want to make sure, and they want to make sure, because ESG for them is a small portion of their funding, and they want to make sure that they're not doing anything to, anytime you don't want to do anything that jeopardizes one grant or how it'll affect another. So,
Right. And nobody wants that to happen. So it's just working through the process.
yeah. So, an update on that was where that's at. So, that's kind of like, yeah, it's been basically just that one day. So that's all I have. Like I said, I'll get the
Sarah,
numbers.
you did do one other thing this month. You got our SAM registration straightened out, which was a difficult process. It's a registration through the federal government. Sarah has done the re-registering for us every year, and due to some other people accessing it, some other employees accessing it, Sarah had a little bit of a task to get us re-registered this year. It's for federal grant funding. We have to have a SAM registration along with our DUNS number. So thank you, Sarah.
So,
Good job.
okay, Sam and Duns, I mean, what?
Go ahead, Sarah.
What is that all stand for?
Well, like you need a DUNS number, like the township and stuff, they all have those in order to apply.
A
for
DUNS number is a
federal-
federal,
So
it's a
nobody-
federal ID number, but what does
Okay.
SAM stand for?
Oh, you're gonna ask.
I just, it's one of those abbreviations.
It seems like
You could
we
research
like,
that and
we
let
like
us
to
know
keep
next
them
week, please.
secret.
Next
Yeah,
report.
it's top secret.
Okay, good job, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you for the recognition, Cindy. It was a,
Thank
It's
you
a-
for taking care of it. One less thing.
All right.
Okay, so then are we ready to move on to item number 8, action to accept a contract between Codington County and the SDHDA? Does anybody have any questions for Sarah? Are we all good?
I'm good.
So
Meyer?
we'll talk about putting that thing on the agenda for the next behavioral health thing, Sarah. So
okay.
So Sarah, can you just briefly explain what this contract covers?
Sure. Just to also clarify, SAM stands for System Award Management Registration. So,
Thank you.
thanks, got it.
but it's what allows the county to accept federal dollars. So like even your COVID money and all that, it runs that through. So this contract with SDHDA, I do apologize. It was a really quick thing that got put together. This state asked us to help distribute CARES funding. The legislation had a special session where they met and had some fundings for rents, utilities, and mortgages. I do want to say one positive. When it first started, utilities, we were not going to be able to provide assistance to local municipal utilities, but we have found a workaround for that. So people with municipal utilities will be able to apply for that assistance. This got kicked off. The legislation approved that, and then it got started October 22nd. We have to have applications by December 18th because funds have to be spent by the 31st. The county will get reimbursed $50 an hour to provide this service and for the time spent, but we are not providing any fiscal part of it. South Dakota Housing will be writing the check. So I didn't feel we were in a position to do the checks invoice just for the time. I did ask the question if the ICAP person in our office could pull cases, and they said no. They would have to bill that through county. Like I asked if they could, or through ICAP, since ICAP's getting the funds too. So I had asked if she would be able to pull those cases, and I was instructed that she would have to go under ICAP at that time. So
Right. And they knew that as well because she does not even have a number, so she's not able to do that. If she would that would ever come to that point, she'd have to get a number. So it's not even anything that she's able to do.
So the state had said it was okay for us to start, processing these applications before the contract was signed. The contract has been reviewed by Deputy State's Attorney Tom Burns, and he had no issues with it. So I'm just asking the board to accept that.
I'm sorry. Looks like it's signed already. Excuse me, I don't remember. Was this brought in front of this board before?
No, I just signed it so you guys would have the copy. So it would just when it got reviewed, I signed it and I sent it your way. So, and
But
then
you have been doing applications, is that correct? You've been approving applications before this contract has been approved by this board.
Yep. The state said it was okay for us to do that. And I had mentioned that we were doing this. So I didn't feel that there would be any issues.
Since the state's attorney is here, I don't know, is this, so this is, we'd be doing, if we accept this, we're kind of doing it after the fact, you know, kind of as a point, now we become a formality, so. You know, I know you're here for another thing, but you know what we're talking about? Yeah.
Tom Brum's looked at it and then
I think,
it was,
yeah.
it was fine in the negotiation.
Yeah,
Stuff, so.
the issue is that we probably should have authorized either the welfare director or the chair to sign it with the state, because it's an agreement between the county and the state. That's kind of the issue. So I guess, you know,
Beforehand, so I'll make a motion, I guess, that we accept it at this point.
All right, we have a motion.
I'll second.
We
It's
have a
kind of after
second.
the fact, but
Second by Gable. My only concern is, this is going to be a time-consuming effort. Do you feel like you're going to be able to fulfill this and do your normal duties as well?
Yes.
I think also, you know, that's something where having the extra hands of the ICAP person in the welfare office will help with that. So, between, and then as I understand it, if Sarah gets strapped, I mean, both ICAP and you guys, now that the glitches have been worked out, can see into the system, so you can pick up, you know, the applications as they come into the system. Is that correct, Sarah? So say if you do get overwhelmed, your ICAP can still pick it up from within the system.
Sarah's first, ICAP is second, but if there's some, they can step in and get them.
Is that correct?
I don't know. We were just told, this was my instructions, was when there's anything on the system, we can look at anything within our county and you just grab as you have time. There wasn't instructions given to me priority who is first or second, but we just go in, and if we see any cases that haven't been assigned, we can assign them. So that allows us the ability, if we do get busy, we can we don't pick those up. So, and then anything that's left over, the state will pick those up. But I don't think, hopefully we will be able to manage that. But once the case has been assigned, Lee, to your question, my understanding, once the case has been assigned to a case manager, that case manager, that agency has to complete those tasks. You can't switch over to another agency, to my understanding.
I think I understand you. So within the system, you'll see an application that's visible to both, either both agencies, both welfare and ICAP. I think that's how I understand it. Then once one of you acts on it, then it becomes the case of that agency.
Right. But you still get to see the name, which has been nice, because, for example, we had an individual call and we were asking us questions, and we were able to, when we looked that up, we noticed that ICAP, Cindy Rammel, had grabbed that. So we were able to refer to that person. But yeah, so that it is beneficial to see that. But we can't reassign it to a different person when it's been assigned, is my understanding. But
what is the length of the contract, Sarah? I'm looking for that.
It should say the 18th on there. The 18th is when the applications are due. The length of the contract is December 31st. I remember reading that on there, but I apologize. I'm not sure if I have that copy with me at home. I think it's in the beginning, in the first paragraph.
And one question, if you have to work from home, is this something that's just a web tool that you can get a login from any computer, or do you have to be in the welfare office to do it?
I can do this from home with a login, and most of it's done online and via email. So I would be able to do this.
And the other question, another question for consideration about, the county versus ICAP doing that is, And I think it was smart not to, take on the duty of dealing with the fiscal responsibilities of this.
That's just the CARES Act.
But I think ICAP is able to do that. Is there any difference in the speed with which an applicant gets their assistance based upon whether they go through, say, welfare office in the state versus ICAP?
I can't speak to how like fast that the person would get the check from ICAP, but I do know that the agencies were given money up front and then they can spend it down. And if they need more, they can ask. So that would be dependent on their system. I do know we, as a county, we submit that weekly to the state and they send off the checks, but I can't speak to how fast each sends a check, but it doesn't affect the determination process.
Right, yeah, okay.
All right, any further questions? Commissioner Johnson, did you have any questions?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
All right, are we ready to vote on this?
I just one quick comment, just so the thing that's helpful to me is that, that both agencies can see the applicants in the system. So if we do think that this is going to be, and we also have the ICAP person helping out in the office. So I think this is probably going to be manageable workload wise.
Are we ready to vote? Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
any opposed? Hearing none. That motion. All right, then we will move on to item number 9, action to approve a change order for the riprap project on County Road 10-1.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rick.
This change order was for more riprap on County Road 10 in the amount of $37,508.80. This road we built up twice in the last year, roughly 7 feet. So there was extra amount of mud that they had to fill up to build the riprap up, get it to the top of the road. So, and approximately now it's 4 feet, maybe a little more if the water went down out of the water. So
This is
What
a
was the
change
amount?
order in the negative.
what's
In the
that?
negative, not the positive change
Right.
order.
We gained on one,
So-
lost on another.
Yep.
What was the amount
Yeah.
again? 37.5.
508.
Okay,
80.
all right. Yeah. All right, well, not much we can.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Gable, second by Waterman. Any further discussion? Commissioner Johnson? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries as well. How
Thank
about
you.
our culvert? Where are we at with that project?
There was a delay. They've got the culverts installed, but they had to wait till, what's today, Thursday, Friday, to get the flowable fill to put between the pipes. They couldn't get it until Friday, so the road will be closed probably all weekend, opened up next week sometime.
It's the road on the west side of Pelican.
Yes.
Okay,
And okay.
Currently, that's the only road we have closed in the county.
Are you hearing any feedback from people that use that road? Because it was supposed to be closed like the week before and
Yeah,
then
no,
turned into 2
They
weeks.
kind of all understood when we came
Okay.
and picked up the barricades, so they didn't get covered up with snow, so.
Hasn't created a problem for
No.
anybody over there.
Just the school had to rearrange a little bit so they could get down to it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I haven't heard much, so,
Is that closed from the curve there? Is
Yes.
that where you guys shut it down?
yes, because there's no other roads down there.
Right.
Even further south, the only one that takes you to the park,
Mhm.
that's the only road that you can cut across. Going east, you cannot go west. So
How's the bridge coming along on County Road 4?
slow. I was there Tuesday and it still sounds around the 19th is when they plan on pouring the deck. but they still don't have the abutment on the west side done. They just started working on that the day I was there, so it's very slow. Very slow. Next week, I will have another change order for the grade raise. That will be very small. But there was a little more gravel, a few tons of riprap, and there was one other thing I can't remember. I just got this late yesterday afternoon. And I had one more thing that I was gonna mention that I can't remember, so. Oh, Myron, this has to do with up in your area, the railroad. They will fix the crossing right by Rawville.
Yeah.
They want to do a cost share of 50-50. And currently they're at $100,000. And I'm working with Landsberger from the state. So hopefully he has more information. I'll put it on the agenda for next week to talk about it. So hopefully he has more information by then. And
Is that the track on,
yes,
where's that at?
right
Rawville?
by Rawville.
Okay.
And it certainly needs help.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs it, but you know, I've been talking to other superintendents across the state and they're a little shocked on the amount that they want to do because they replaced the one that was 300 yards from it on our County Road 8 at no charge, which isn't quite as big, but they replaced them all the way from South Shore to Grover, and
Our cost wasn't nearly as high.
We've never
had
been.
six,
sure.
was it? They did
Yeah.
that
So
one.
we'll
Yeah.
do
yeah,
Yeah,
on
that's
6 it
weird.
wasn't.
95.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, so we're working on it, but
Yeah, that's a new one because they usually have been,
yeah,
it takes them a long time to do them, but it's been at their expense.
yeah, because I really don't need the tracks across the road, so.
Right?
But
Yeah,
I was just
good.
putting that out there for next week, so.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thanks, Rick.
thank you.
All right.
I need to excuse myself. Hopefully I'll make it back to do something, so.
Okay. All righty. So you may be able to make it back. this year? Okay. All right. We'll move on to item number 10 then, action to approve a 5-year contract with Johnson Controls for heating and cooling operations in the courthouse and detention center, and that would be Steve. You have some information for us?
Well, the previous contract was about $200 less, so I think for just a slight increase of the $200 for the next 5 years to have routine maintenance on the heating cooling system in the courthouse is relatively pretty good deal, I think, for compared to 5 years ago for only raising this much
Right.
for
And
next
it's-
5 years. Yeah, this is a per year basis for the next 5 years.
Okay. And it's,
$100, Steve?
$200 more a year annually.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's
And it's-
outstanding. That's, wow.
it's been a benefit to have that.
Yes,
in
it
place.
has.
All right. So we look for a motion
Make a
then.
motion. to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Waterman. Any other discussion, comments? Commissioner Johnson?
The only thing I would say is that in another facility that I'm affiliated with is that once we incorporated Johnson Controls, we started saving quite a bit of money on our energy. So it's a cost benefit deal and it works out very good for us.
All right. With that, we ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. All right, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, should have maybe called Becky up here sooner. I don't know where your court is today, but we will move on to item number 11, action to advertise and fill a position for deputy state's attorney to fill an upcoming vacancy.
Yes. We have received a resignation from Rebecca Ryder. She'll be relocating out of state due to her spouse taking a job out of the state. So we are looking, she will work through the end of the year. And so we'd like to get it advertised and hopefully have someone in place right about the same time.
All right,
Make a motion to approve.
motion by Van Duzen. Do I have a second? Anybody want to second this
Second.
motion? Second by Waterman. Any other discussion?
You can't make the motion into a second.
I know, I was gonna do it, but I thought maybe someone else wanted to. We'll vote on that then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, good luck.
Thank Rebecca for her service to the county. Should be a great loss. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, item number 12, we'll call Jamie up here for this one. Discussion, possible action to adopt a resolution to ban open burning. We had a discussion earlier, but Jamie, you want to fill everyone in, please?
Yes, good morning. We have some weather elements that are really going to come into play starting tomorrow through the weekend. As far as grassland fire danger, we're going to be moving into a very high category tomorrow. And they're already kind of predicting on the National Weather Service site from 12 p.m. until 6 p.m. tomorrow night is a very high category. I this morning reached out to our county departments, fire departments, also with the Watertown Fire Department, and they're all in agreement. I know we have a lot of crops that are out, and agricultural industry and farmers need to do some dedicated burning to what they have to have done. But this weekend does not look favorable at all for what we're up against as far as some upper 20% humidities and some forecasted winds that'll be sustained at 20 to 25 with gusts up to 40 and 50 mile an hour through the weekend. So
I had a thought on that. Cindy, I don't know if this is something that we could do. I know this is an important time for farmers, you know, to get some of that stuff done with this, the threat just kind of being for a few days. I wonder, can we say that it would maybe start at midnight tonight? That gives them today until midnight Sunday night, because then Monday next week it sounds better. And then when we meet Tuesday, we can reevaluate it. Can we do something like that? Just for
That'd be a
time?
question for your state's attorney, because it's by resolution.
Well, it would be in a resolution. We could put that in the resolution, I would think.
That's
but
not the
I
way it
don't
states
know.
right now. I
Yeah.
just,
Well, I mean,
Monday is
you
supposed to
can,
change. Monday is supposed to be drastically different.
yeah, I know. That's why I would say just for a few days that it would go on, and then typically we have a meeting and rescind it.
it says is hereby declared, and until this resolution be otherwise rescinded by the board. So I don't know.
You can't make the motion to rescind it all in one, like it will make it now. and
That
we'll
would be a
rescind it.
question for your state's attorney.
Wonder if we can get her back.
we're moving forward. We put this on the upper agenda on Tuesday morning.
Well, Tuesday morning, we won't
It-
even need it.
you mean
anymore,
to
will
lift
we,
it?
Jamie?
To let,
Yes.
you mean to let, I mean, yeah,
The-
I can leave it on as an open
Yeah.
item for discussion,
Weekly.
either
Yeah.
for, or,
Regardless.
yeah,
Yeah.
either to
We can
enact
leave it
or rescind.
Well, I think it's important that we move forth with this either way and enact that. And I know we haven't
should
got
make a
that far
strong
yet, but
recommendation not
yesterday
to
we
burn.
had a grass fire yesterday over by Cottonwoods Slough that was 40 plus acres
Yeah,
over
a little
there.
better
So
than 40 acres, and then cuts into some state game fish land as well. And I was on one up in our 3-county corner area, Grant, Codington, and Dual on another GFP.
Doesn't
section.
take much right now, does it?
No.
And it does say until this resolution be otherwise rescinded by the board, all open burning is prohibited. So I don't know
If we can do it all in one motion.
if you can
to-
do it, if you can designate it from and through. That would,
We
yeah,
may
that's
have
where you
to-
need to talk to the state's attorney.
Yeah. Might have to be something we'd have to tweak, but that would be something that has to go on the agenda and add it for
Correct.
the next meeting.
When are we looking at it changing to more favorable?
Monday.
Tomorrow through Sunday, but
Okay,
then we do
so-
have
Isn't there a
chances of only
chance-
a tenth to a quarter of an inch between early next week.
But today's,
Sunday, the temperatures drop. Our conditions right now with these warm weather and the wind that's forecasted,
so today's Thursday. We meet again on Tuesday.
we'd
so
be
we're
looking at
just
about a
talking about-
5-day event
Yeah.
to resend it again.
But it could be nicer on Monday and Tuesday again for them. I just know that time is of the essence for them to be able to get some of this done too. That's my only concern, but obviously on these windy days, we would hope.
Or
that
we can go on
do
an
it, but-
educational PSA and social media drive of just education and
News stories on it. There's Becky.
Okay, thanks, Becky. Sorry, didn't know we
Well,
need
that
you.
might be the way to go on such a short time. Really common sense. Nobody wants to burn their neighbor's field down.
Okay,
No.
so Becky, the thing is we have a resolution in place and it states that You can go ahead and read
The Board of County Commissioners have determined that a fire danger emergency is hereby declared, and until this resolution be otherwise rescinded by the Codington County Board of Commissioners, all open burning is prohibited. The question is, can they put something in the resolution that it starts immediately and goes through a certain time frame? It says it has to be rescinded by resolution currently, so I don't know. Okay, all right. Okay, all right, that's kind of, yeah. All right,
So if we want to do that, we'd have to go and change the resolution to tweak it. to
The
be able to do
language.
something like that.
Change the language.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Well, I don't know. What do we want to do on this? I guess
Jamie, what do you want to do? What's your recommendation? We can do it either way. You know, if we put this in place today, it'll be in effect until at least Tuesday.
Mhm.
Correct. I follow suit with their recommendations, but they're all coming to me as far as our county departments, even our local Watertown fire. We need a temporary, we need something with the wind forecast.
Okay, I'm gonna
Before
make a
we go on
motion.
that.
I'm gonna make a motion that we put this resolution back into place.
Can we
week
leave
or-
it? It doesn't have to be immediately. We could set it for like midnight tonight. That gives them today, since we have a good day. Would you-
Beginning,
Effective midnight tonight, yes, I would amend,
Well,
Commissioner.
he's not quite done yet.
Okay.
so-
yeah, let me
sorry.
think
Be
about the
it
verbiage on this.
further resolved that this resolution is declared to be necessary for the immediate preservation of the public safety,
Okay,
effective immediately.
Oh, shoot.
I
Well, we
would
can't
put,
do that
can we
either.
change that to
We have to,
effective midnight?
we have to
Can't
change the
change it.
resolution.
We'd have to rewrite it.
We have to rewrite the resolution if we want to do these sorts of
okay.
motions.
So I know I was gonna make the motion, but I'm gonna rescind it because I think if
You're gonna withdraw.
We
I'm gonna
have
withdraw
great,
that motion at this time because I think we need to give these folks an
Mhm.
opportunity to do what they have planned.
Yes.
And I don't want to just throw it out there because time is critical for these
Yeah.
folks and gonna roll the dice on
Well-
this. I know, but we're talking about from now until Tuesday. And if we need to make it the resolution on Tuesday, then we can do that at that
Right.
time. But I have a hard time just throwing that out there to them.
I think we just need to really,
Do a media blast.
A
and just-
media
And we can do
brief
that.
Yeah.
along with, and a reminder to me that I was not aware of, the city of Watertown. Anybody that lies within 1 mile of city limits actually has to go through them to get a permit to do any open burning
Mhm.
on their outside edges. So
So maybe we can just, put this out to the news media too, to help us get the message out there that
correct.
conditions are not favorable and we are discouraging any burning from now until those conditions change.
We're going to give
Um,
them an
but-
opportunity. We hope they make a good judgment call.
Yeah, I just don't want to throw a resolution
Yeah.
out there and prevent people from burning this weekend if that's what their plans were and
Yeah.
to get caught up on some things because time is critical now. for
Yeah.
us.
And with that said, we really want to emphasis on contact the Watertown Dispatch Center with your
Mhm.
location, the sheriff's
Yes.
office with your location and your local
Yep.
fire jurisdiction.
Yep.
Have a plan.
We won't tie their hands, but we ask them to please be very considerate when they're doing this.
Some personal responsibility.
Correct.
So there we go. I guess hopefully
And
everyone.
I guess with that being said, and with Becky here, we could probably make this announcement too, that if you do burn and it causes damage, you are liable for any expense related to that civilly. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yes.
Okay.
All
thank you.
right. Well, I guess we need to do a little work on a resolution. And if these are some things, that we want a little more flexibility.
Is it possible to change that resolution down the road to where it says that the
Yes.
resolution will begin at this time
Yep.
and end at this time?
We can add that into the resolution as how we want to
I've sent Becky the resolution. She can,
Okay.
tweak it for us so that
You
we
guys
can have
can
that flexibility.
please talk to her directly on what you want.
Sounds
There
good.
are,
Good.
there are a few counties in the state that kind of have that resolution designed that way, that they can declare a fire emergency
For a certain time
for a certain
period.
time period.
And then it comes off. And that's what I think would be nice.
And
The
then we
other-
could just extend that.
Yeah.
Week by
On a
week.
Yeah, we can leave it
24-hour
on.
basis, so-
Yeah.
Correct.
Another question, like, does any of them have like a certain, and maybe this gets too technical for our law enforcement, but is it like for them to determine a fire danger, is it a certain so many miles per hour to get it into that category?
Yeah, to a sense, following the guidelines of the state fire marshal's office and the climatology department along with the National Weather Service. Anytime those low relative humidities drop down into that 25% category, and anything with that 20 to 25 mile an hour sustained winds, that really brings it up.
It'd be under
You
certain
know, it would not
specific
surprise me
conditions.
looking at what they've put in play for tomorrow. And they do today's date and a 24-hour period next.
Mhm,
Now by 5 tonight, we'll get tomorrow, you know, for Saturday's index.
mhm.
We're in that very high. There's a probability of they'll probably issue a red flag warning.
Yeah,
You know, when we watch that, that would be probably in my mindset to revisit that resolution as far
Yeah.
as declaring it on a time frame
that's, yeah.
situation.
Or if we can put some of that into there as well, that would determine some of
We
that.
don't want to make, but we don't want to make it overly complicated.
No.
either.
No, I
It
know.
doesn't need to be harder than
No.
it has to.
All right,
But,
well,
you know, we'd have that authority maybe a little bit to meet and just declare it for a
Mhm.
24-hour stretch.
Yeah.
With forecasted models and their documentation.
Would that be something, Becky, that we could put in for the emergency management director to declare this a no fire?
I think there's an ordinance in place that you would have to change first. So you're gonna have to look at that, see how that ordinance is written, because the ordinance is what authorizes the resolutions.
mhm,
So you may need to go back and look at that ordinance first. We've talked about this before and it just never went any further.
Yeah.
I mean, the responsibility is still with this board.
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Like it.
Well, we'll tweak that anyway, so at least give us a little flexibility on timeframes so we aren't locked into a week by week thing sometimes. So maybe it's just specific days that we know.
We'll get the message out there.
We'll just.
All right, very good. And
Education.
thank you, Jamie, for
Thank
the
you.
information.
Thank you
Thanks, Becky.
twice today.
Yeah, thanks, Becky, for coming back. Item number 13, action to approve claims for payment.
I have nothing today.
All right. Item number 14, action possible discussion on COVID-19 practices, procedures, and policy.
Wear your mask.
Yep, go ahead and come up here, Natalie.
Just one thing that has come up. So when we revised the personnel manual for employees that had tested positive with COVID, we said they should be out for the 14 days, or they could come back with a doctor's note if it was before that. We are accepting also the letters from the Department of Health that say they can come back earlier. So I don't know if we need to officially change the personnel manual so that it says not just doctor's notes, but also Department of Health would work, or if we just need to put out a notice to employees, or how you want to handle that, I guess.
I suppose it should be added in, I would think, to make it official, or would you say, Cindy, that to add it to it? As an addendum to it or something? I don't know.
Doctors, it would basically just be saying like doctor's note or letter from the Department of Health.
Either or.
Just the verbiage.
Okay, that's up to you guys. I mean,
I don't think we
It's
need
a
to make
pretty
an
minor
addendum to that. I
change, so
think
I'm
we could
like,
just
I
send it
don't
out to
know.
our county employees
Just
and
do it as a
Okay.
memo,
Yeah.
memorandum, let everybody know,
Yeah.
Okay,
and then it's noted.
I can send you that, Cindy, if you want to distribute
Yeah.
that. Okay.
that's pretty common. And if
Yeah,
employees
I
need
just was
that,
like-
they can contact the Department of Health and
Yes.
ask them
Mhm.
for that letter as well.
Right, right. Yep.
All
Okay,
right.
that's all I got on that.
Thank you.
Very good. All
We
right,
need to make
thank
it
you.
complex.
Item number 15, action to approve automatic budget supplements.
nothing today for 15.
All right, item number 16, action to approve personnel changes.
I have two of those. The first one is Jill Schweitzer. She is a clerk in the Register of Deeds office. Do an anniversary step increase to step 13, 2044 per hour. The second one is Megan LaFramboise, Deputy State's Attorney. Do her 6-month increase per her review. She will go from 31.61 an hour to 32.69 per hour.
So moved.
All right, motion
Second.
by Van Duzen, second by Waterman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Johnson,
Myron?
hello?
Hello,
Commissioner
Myron.
Johnson, do you have it on mute maybe? I'm not sure.
While
You may
we're
have
waiting
stepped
for
away. I
Myron,
guess the motion carries anyway. No, or any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries.
thanks to those employees for their service.
Right, all righty. Item number 17, action to approve travel requests.
Nothing today.
None of them. How about public notices? A possible quorum of commissioners could be in attendance. Do we have anything we can think of? I don't know.
No?
It's kind of. Any old business?
Just one item, and it's been said multiple times, but I can't say one more time. Not appropriate. We just went through an election. We went through some very, very trying times, and setup at the extension center was well distanced. Took a lot to set it up and plan it out, and without mentioning all the names, thank you very much for the people that were involved from the commissioners.
Large number of employees went into hauling everything out there, setting it up, and yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to just take a moment to echo those comments from Commissioner Waterman. I was up here in my other capacity covering the election night coverage on behalf of the media, but from a commissioner standpoint, I'm very proud of our operation here. It was mentioned by Bob Fain, Lee Schoenbeck, and a lot of other people that what a great operation we have here in Codington County. I don't know if many people know this, but they had a technical problem up here the night of the election with their machine. The machine shut down, and I've never seen so many people run so fast. And of course, that's a big deal on election night, but they got right on it and contacted the company.
We had a
and got it-
calling tree that
got
was
it.
provided to us for the equipment providers,
and got it up and running within just a few short minutes, and they were back in service. But it's a well-oiled machine up here, Cindy, and you and your staff do a
there's a
great
lot of
job.
experienced people from several offices who volunteer here on election night, and they have got it down to a science. I just stay out of their way.
Yeah, and I wouldn't expect anything different from you, Cindy, but a lot of this goes back to you and your leadership and making sure that this runs smoothly. So
Yep.
thank you very much, and
Thank you.
great job.
Yep, I would echo the same. You guys are very efficient and you get those numbers out like that. So, and everybody appreciates that.
Just
sure.
gonna add one more to the guy that we will never know, but that's the tech support guy that you were able to get a hold of
Yeah.
after hours.
That's the job you don't want on election
He
night.
he actually told me he was heading to the East Coast after
Oh.
after being in Omaha on election night. He was heading to the East Coast to assist out there. So
And so he was able to fix our problem, and a thumbs up to him and the company that whatever we're paying for the maintenance,
contract. Yep, pretty much. Yeah, it's
this is
worth it.
why.
Yes.
Sounds like he needs to head to Pennsylvania. Anyway.
Somewhere. Lots of places. All right. We'll move on then to number 20, new business. Any new business to report? Seeing none, how about for the open? And I'm assuming we didn't get any call-ins because the girls would let us know that. Anyone else have anything?
Did that certificate of canvas make it all the way over to you? I need to have each of you sign that. There's 3 of them. Okay, thank you.
The only one that hasn't is Myron.
Okay, yep, that's fine.
Yeah, we don't want to get them in packets and take them home.
Yeah.
All right, so item number 22 is executive session, and we do
Madam
have a
Chair.
need.
Can I interrupt for just a second? Cindy, can we just back up for a minute, and can you explain the need to canvass the votes so the public knows why we do that?
Each county is required to canvass the votes to make sure the election night results match what is going into the state of South Dakota. The state will conduct a statewide canvass on next Tuesday. So we hold our canvass today to verify the numbers counted on election night match what I inputted into the state's database. And if we had any provisional ballots that needed to be added to our numbers, this would be the time to do that, but we did not have any provisional ballots. voted for this election. In fact, we have never counted a provisional ballot.
So each county validates or verifies that the numbers are correct.
Yes.
Then the state comes in and does it one more time.
Yep,
and
yep,
then
we
the
have to get
election
our
is
stuff in the
finalized?
mail to the state. It's gotta be this certificate. It's gotta have the county seal on it. It has never happened to me, but I do know occasionally, somebody will forget to put the county seal on their canvas. It gets mailed to the Secretary of State's office, and that makes a quick trip to Pier to get that official seal on it. It has happened. I don't know if it's happened recently, but it's a very specific process. Yes.
This is actually then a 3-step process.
The county canvas and then the statewide canvas. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it'd be
yep.
nice if all the states had the same system.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot less.
Thank you.
We didn't have,
Cindy, this is Myron. Would you like
Yeah.
me to stop up and sign those either later today or tomorrow?
I need to get these in the mail by 1 o'clock today. So I will probably just, I don't know, I'll have to check and see how they want me to handle that. As long as I've got a majority on there, which I do, I've got 4 signatures. The certificate passes, so it's fine.
All right, fine.
Okay, thank you though.
All right. Item number 22, we do have a reason to go into executive session. Personnel for one, do you have any contracts? So we got a couple items. There will be nothing coming out of executive session, so no action. So I'd look for a motion to go in.
So moved.
Motion by Van
Second.
Duzen, second by Waterman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
All right, we are in executive session.
Maybe I'll just add my 2 cents. 9 o'clock on Tuesday night, I go in and check the results, and on the